As the owner of a six-figure handmade business, as well as someone who scaled to six figures with Etsy print on demand in only 10 months, I have to be super efficient with how I spend my time to make sure that I am being as productive as possible so that I can crush my goals in all of my shops and make sure I'm not sacrificing my time as a busy mom and wife as well. So for today's video, I want to share with you the 7 productivity hacks that I use within my Etsy print on demand shop in order to scale fast, be efficient in how I spend my time, and get it all done. In case we haven't met yet, hey there friend, my name is Mandy. I'm a busy Midwest boy mama, former HR director turned full-time handmade small business entrepreneur, and builder of Etsy print-on-demand shops that I scaled quickly to 6 figures in just 10 months, all while not having to touch a single product or ship anything out to a customer myself. I'm obsessed with sharing knowledge that simplifies the Etsy print-on-demand process so that anyone can be their own 6-figure product boss with freedom from fulfillment. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my free content that is structured to help support you on your print-on-demand journey. The first one for me is huge, and that is because whether you're running another business, working full-time somewhere else, or if you're a busy stay-at-home mom, I see you, you're working all day too. You need to be able to fit in print-on-demand work in pockets of time. That is one of the principles that I have within my SimplyPod course, is being able to work efficiently and in pockets of time. So how do we do that? Well, we work in blocks. So typically I have a few different blocks that I will designate and work within when I'm working on my print-on-demand shop. So whether I have 30 minutes of time or an hour of time or a glorious 2 hours of time, I know what my priority is for that time and I can really focus and stay on task when it comes to that activity. So one of them is a block for researching, coming up with ideas, coming up with new concepts or keywords that I want to research. So really one block is all about research and idea formulation. Start formulating in my head what type of designs might go with these, but really focusing that block of time on hammering out research and ideas. So then a separate block of time will be when I actually do my designs and my mock-ups for the ideas that I already came up with. Because again, I've already made that running list, so it's a lot easier to then start formulating designs and plans for those ideas and niches when I actually get to my block of design and mock-up time. So I'll work on the designs in Canva, I'll get those uploaded on mock-ups in Canva, and they're ready to go. And that gets them ready for my third block of time, which is actually creating the listings. So typically my process is I will upload everything into Printify first, get all those products created and ready to roll and pushed over to Etsy. And then after that, I will finalize all of those listings in Etsy. So I will adjust how much I think I can get done. So in an hour, it might be 10 or 15 listings that I can finalize and knock out. Because again, I've already used those other 2 time blocks to really have my plan, have my design, and now I'm ready for listing. So my last block, and this block I usually do at the end of pretty much every day, is kind of my general housekeeping for my print-on-demand shop. So typically I'll designate one time of day where I'm going through responding to messages that I've gotten, pushing orders through on Printify because I'll typically do them in bulk. If I've had any personalized orders come in, I'll finalize those and get those imported and sent off in Printify. And then finally, I'll usually set my daily sales that I run in all of my shops every single day for 24 hours at a time. During these blocks of time, typically I will try to put my phone down. I will try to stop the doom scrolling on TikTok. I see you. I know you're right there with me too. And I say try because I'm not always successful, and that's okay too, friends. But again, the goal here is to do our best to try and block out as much time as we can have this designated focus time for each of these different activities that will ultimately move our business forward and help us to scale faster. So my second productivity hack is keeping a running list of all of my niche ideas, keyword ideas, design ideas, keeping that all in one place so that I just can keep adding to a running list at any given time. I'm an Apple girl, so I use the Notes app because it's on my phone, it's on my tablet, it's on my MacBook, everywhere I have an Apple device. And so it's super accessible and it syncs across all of them. I know there are plenty of apps out there that do the exact same thing that can be used on any device. I just happen to use the Notes one because it's already there and it's super, super easy to use and organize. And so if I'm at the grocery store and I have this wild idea of, oh, I want to design something like this, or hey, I have this great idea for this niche XYZ, I wonder if there's anyone searching for it, and I'll jot that down. Because number one, if I'm at the grocery store, there's not a whole lot I can do for the design process. I'm at the grocery store. So typically what I'll do is pull out my phone, jot down my idea really quick in the Notes app where I have them all stored, put it back, and move on. That way I have it noted for later when I'm actually in that time block. Remember, research, ideas. I have a list to refer to, and it's not taking me away from being in the moment of whatever else I'm doing. Or perhaps I'm in my time block for design and mockups and I get another idea of a different niche where I might use a similar design or could do something similar but with a different specific buyer or niche in mind. I don't want to stop the flow of what I'm doing if I am not in my research and idea time block. So again, since I'm doing most of my designing on one of my devices, pop open the Notes app, make a quick note, close it out, and then go back to whatever I was doing in my design mode so that I'm not interrupting my flow. My brain can stay focused on the design or whatever process is at hand. Or if I'm out with my family, I'm not interrupting that with trying to stop and hammer out or try and do some quick research lookup. No, we want to designate our time for that, and we want to have a way to still hold on to those ideas but not have it interrupt what we're in the middle of doing elsewhere. My third productivity hack actually serves a couple of purposes, and that is keeping my products and offerings streamlined. So what I mean by that is, for example, I sell sweatshirts as one of my product offerings. In fact, it's one of my main product offerings. And so for sweatshirts, I try to offer no more than 5 or 6 different color variations for each design. The reason I do this is twofold. One, as a customer, there is such a thing as decision fatigue, and that means that a customer will have so much trouble making a decision on something that they end up not making a decision at all and they exit the sale. And that is not what we want to happen if we can prevent it. And so it's a bit of a retail psychology thing, but it is true. And so I do try to keep those product offerings streamlined in that sense. The second way that it helps me be productive, though, is it helps to streamline my design process, because the more product types you're trying to design for at any given time, the more you have to touch and fuss and adjust mockups and designs and sizes and things like that. So again, when we think about scaling fast, when we think about being efficient, streamlining your product offerings means that you are also streamlining the design and listing process at the same time. Similarly, if you're going to offer a bunch of different products with different designs on them, it can feel a little cluttered for customers depending on how you organize it. And again, it's going to take away and slow you down as you are going through the design and mock-up process, especially the mock-up process, versus having fewer product types and being able to reuse designs and mock-ups across those different products. Doesn't mean that you can't offer as many products as you want or put your design up on a bunch of different things, especially if you've got a design selling well. But again, as you're creating initial listings, initial design, and if your goal is to scale fast and be efficient, then having that product offering streamlined will really go a long way, both for you as well as for your customer. Which is a perfect segue into number 4 for a productivity hack. If you've seen any of my videos on designs or mockups, you know that I love working in batches, and time blocks are a big part of that, but I batch designs, I batch mockups, I batch listings. I am a batch girl. I think that comes from having a handmade skincare business where I pretty much live and breathe in batches of making things all day. So that kind of has just, I think, carried over to this. And I just find that working in batches is so much more efficient as I'm creating designs and things like that. And so with that, I actually keep all of my mockups in one single file per product type. So for example, all of my Gildan 18,000 mockups, I've got over 40 something, I think, in one design file. I keep them all in one single file, not folder, file in Canva. So that way when I'm ready to make a new mockup for a new design, I simply take that file, copy it. I'll delete any of the colors or mockups that I don't need. Also in that design file, I've got my size and color chart in there as well. And so I do that for every single different type of mockup styles that I have for different products. So I have one file for my Gildan 18,000 mockups. I have another file for my Gildan 64,000 t-shirt mockups. I have another file for my Bella 3001 mockups. And again, for each of those, I've got my size chart, color chart in there, ready to roll all together. I also keep these mockup files sized to Etsy optimized listings. So 2700 by 2025 as a ratio size for my canvas in Canva. Again, they're already sized, they're ready to go. So then whenever I'm ready to create a new mockup for a listing, I copy the mockup file, added my design for each of the images. I typically make sure I have 8 or 9 or 10, depending on how full I've got that mockup file. I've got them all ready to go. I've got my image in there. I've got my transparency adjusted. I export the whole thing as one file so that then when I get to my Etsy listing to finalize it, I'm literally just grabbing one file folder that I saved and I'm uploading it all at once. So it makes it so much faster once I'm finalizing mockups and then going through that listing process where I finalize it on Etsy and do all the uploading. It makes it significantly faster because I literally just have everything ready to go in one file. I'm not jumping around between folders. I'm not trying to find it in one program and pull another one from here. All together, all at once, super, super streamlined. Which then leads me to my next productivity hack. Literally taking the mockup file that I just created and I'm saving it as a video. So you remember that file I told you I make for a mockup? It typically has anywhere between 8 and 10 images in it. Guess what I do? In Canva, I change each of those images to 1 second and then I export the whole thing as an MP4 video. And so in less than 60 seconds, I've created a listing video which will boost me for Etsy. It will catch the attention of customers as they're scrolling through search results. And I did it all without any extra time or effort involved other than a couple clicks. I honestly used to hate making mockup listing videos. In fact, for the longest time, I didn't have any because I'm like, who has the time to go create some sort of cute little video on top of everything else that we're doing? But by taking just a couple clicks with a file that I'm already creating for my listing and adding that as a video, now that I can do. Again, I'm all about keeping it simple, being super efficient, and getting it done. Number 6 on my productivity hack list is keeping a communication playbook, or whatever fancy term you want to give it. Essentially, I keep a running list of all sorts of different communication templates that I use within my shop. So if a customer is requesting gift messaging and I can't do that, I have a message for that. If a customer has a question about whether or not they can get a sweatshirt turned into a t-shirt, I have a response for that. If a customer has a problem with their order or is reaching out with a concern and I need to then take that to Printify to get it fixed, I have communication templates for both of those. So I just keep this again in my handy little notes app. I literally just have a file in there that says Etsy messages, and it's a great little trick because again, it's on all my devices. So if I need to send a response to someone, or if I need to directly send a message, or if I have a question on my end for a customer, I simply open up my notes app, grab my little section that I need, copy and paste that into Etsy, adjust it if I need to depending on the situation, send it off, and I'm done. It means that I'm spending a lot less time trying to formulate a response again and again, especially over time as you start to get used to the similar themes of questions that you might be getting from customers. As you start having those, I simply just save it. Or if I come across a new situation with a customer, I'll save that and I'll copy whatever my response was for that new situation, and I'll add it to my list and give it a heading so that it's there if I ever need to use it again. And finally, number 7, which is one that you will hear me preach again and again because it is so important, and not only does it help you be more successful in your business, it ultimately helps you be more productive as well. And that is making data-driven decisions within your shop. So that means doing your research, doing your homework when it comes to niches and keywords and SEO to give your shop the best chance of success. It also means looking at your shop stats and your Etsy ads if you've got those turned on, and the keywords and the data that those stats are telling you within your shop. You've got lots of great data at your fingertips, so the more you can use that information to direct the types of products that you're creating, the types of designs that you're using, the types of niches and keywords that you're implementing in your shop, the more you can use data and informed decisions for that, the less you'll be throwing spaghetti at a wall. And trust me, throwing spaghetti at a wall is a big time waster when it comes to productivity, because there's no good way of knowing if there's even a chance that it's going to pay off. So if you're going out there and spending all of your precious time creating listings, creating designs, creating products, doing all of that work and spending hours and hours of time doing that without having done any research, without putting in any effort into keywords or what's actually going to be profitable and help you scale fast, has just been a big waste of time. And when we talk about productivity, we're talking about activities that are going to be the most efficient for us and yield the best results for us. And the only way to do that is by making data-driven decisions, by doing our research, by looking at our shop, seeing what's working or potentially not working, adjusting based on that, and continuing to progress and move forward based on that information. So that's it, friends. Those are my 7 productivity hacks, my secret sauce on running 2 really big businesses, one of which really runs just in pockets of time. And so I hope this has been helpful for you. If you've got your own productivity hacks that have worked for you, I'd love to hear about them, so feel free to drop them in the comments. As always, thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming content, and I'll see you next time. If you're looking for more helpful ways to continue the work and stay connected, I invite you to join me over on Patreon, where I provide a membership to get exclusive access to my Google Drive with all sorts of wonderful tools and resources that I've created and continue adding to every month. It's also a place to join conversations as I think about future content and how I can serve you with the most amount of value. I also hope that you'll smash that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on all of the exciting upcoming content that I've got planned for this channel. And finally, I invite you to check out my brand new website where you can subscribe to my own email list, follow along on new blog content that I will be building, and access other freebies that I have available on there to support you on your journey. thank you so much for being here. And until next time, stay consistent and keep going. I am cheering you on, my friend.